So I don't know if people know this chap here on the left. He goes by the name Edge of the Matrix, which is quite fitting when you think about all of this. What he does is basically, I've done one or two videos on him before, and there has been times where, you know, it gets a bit heated and blah blah, but it's like going up, it's stepping up a little bit now. In the last 2-3 months, he's been assaulted like 4 or 5 times, something like this. But I have 2 incidences here where it just shows you the Rainbow Squad's real intentions, let's say. Now, you could say, oh, well, it's unfair to label all of this LGBT squad under one brush, let's say. But, I mean, we do that with everything. Like, we do that with, well, society does it with everything, you know. Let's take, for instance, George Floyd. I mean, he was a bottom of the barrel drug dealing, woman assaulting criminal, right? But yet, it was alright to use him to push for Black Lives Matter. But yet he was just one person from the black community, you know? So, if we're gonna do it, if society is gonna do that, well then, I'm gonna do it with LGBT, you know? It's like I always say to you is, when the lefties, the NPCs, the NGOs, if they can pick and choose, I know you are sick of me hearing me saying this, if they can pick and choose what they want to use in their videos or to get their message out, then I'm going to do it as well. Fair is fair, isn't it? It's good enough for the goose, it's good enough for the gander. But this one here, there's this one, and then there's another one I'm going to show you now in a second. He's just standing there. Now he's having a conversation with a bloke who says, he seems quite level-headed, and it's just as this happens, but he's sitting there having a conversation. I can find it on YouTube. I'll put the full video of this in the comments below, of this one in particular, because there's another point I want to make. The guy he's having a conversation with, he's sitting there nice and calm, talking away to each other, nice dialogue, you know, your man's trying to understand why he's standing there, right? But the chap who's the member of the public who's sitting there says, I see you come out and you've got nice cameras there, nice microphones, nice billboard. He says, it's a lot of effort, you know? He goes, why would you go through all this effort, you know, to try highlight what less than 1% of the population of this country are trying to promote, basically? Or, you know, the way they say that they're a minority, that they're actually less than 1% of the population. So your man's wondering why he would bother his whole going out there with this billboard and these cameras. And Joe, the first thing I thought of was, that's an interesting way of looking at it. Like, why would this encourage a man such like the Edge of the Matrix to go out there if it's only less than 1% of the public who he has something against, or he wants to highlight something about them? And the first thing that popped into my head was, Jesus, the Nazis. I wonder how much of the population, you know, were actual Nazis back in the 30s, the 20s and 30s, you know? How many of the population of the world was actually pro-thing? And it was less than like 0.3% of the world. So, you know, that's the way my mind works. Like, why would people have a problem with the Nazis if they were 0.3% of the world? Sure, it's nothing, don't worry about it, you know? It's a very small minority, you know? See, when you put things like that in comparison, it's just, it doesn't make sense why people would be so naive towards it. Because there are, and people who watch my videos are aware of this agenda by the Rainbow Squad. that they want the children involved in it, and they want them as young as like 6 years old, 5 years old. You know, they want the 5-year-olds fucking involved in it, and it's just wrong. We all know it's wrong. It's like fetishism on steroids. You know, they just want to be able to do their sexual acts in public and with whoever and whenever they want. Now, I've often said, if it's behind closed doors and you want to do all that stuff, walk away, but don't get the children involved in it. That's my big gripe with it, is the fact that they want the children involved. But anyway, here he is standing out, and this is just after he's still having a bit of the conversation. You hear a little bit of it at the end, but then this thing comes in and goes on a mad one. Have a look.
That is assault.
You were making a mockery.
That is absolute assault.
You would make everything worse. What the fuck? Why are you doing this? My friend fucking died last year.
That's some pricks like you. I hope you fucking perish. Man. Someone call the police.
What else would you in trouble? So, I agree with your viewpoint. I agree with what you're saying.
Can somebody call the police, please?
Walk away now while you can.
No, you're not walking away. You are not walking away. Can you call the police? Can somebody please call the police?
Let go. Let's all let go. Let's just all let go.
No, I'm not going to let it go. No, this is all on camera.
Let's take a second.
I'm aware this is all on camera. I hope it is.
Somebody please call the police.
Let's take a second.
I'm not going to let go of her.
Okay.
Yeah, she's just assaulted me really
I have
badly.
just assaulted
Yeah.
and I
Okay.
frankly, I'll take the rap. I don't give
Yeah,
a shit.
well, you're not going anywhere.
I am a girl. I was born a girl. I am a girl. My friends are transgender. I don't give a shit about what you think.
So, there you go. She's claiming she's a she, right? I don't give a shit what any of you think. What I believe is the truth. See the way she used our friend's passing and is putting the blame on him. It's his fault because he's out there, standing out there with a billboard, not going up to people and getting in their faces and telling them, like, this is what you should believe. No, he doesn't do that. He simply stands there, and if you want to come up and have a conversation with him, it's kind of like Charlie Kirk, if you get me. It's kind of like Billboard Chris, who's another guy who goes out and just stands there with his billboard. He doesn't go into people's faces. If you want to come up and have a conversation with him, he's completely open to it, and he stands there and he listens to you. You know, he doesn't try to dictate to you. He tells you his viewpoint, and then you're allowed to tell him your viewpoint. But of course, it's at a point now where these freaks are just, it's like, you know, they are the real fascists when you think about it. You know, you don't agree with their viewpoint, well then you're going to be silenced. You're going to be attacked, physically attacked in the streets if you don't go along with what we believe. That's what they're saying when they do these things. And you seen your man that you had the conversation with at the start? With the glasses? Even though he was still like, he was like, right, calm down now, let go and just go on, be on your separate ways. No, if someone assaults you like that, you're not gonna just let them cruise and walk away, are you? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, there's a little bit left there. But watch what he does. I don't give a fuck. Watch what this thing does now. I don't give a fuck what any of you think. Watch this.
About me. I fucking.
There you go. Look at the look. Real assured of itself that it's still doing the right thing by assaulting this man who's just standing there with a billboard. Huh? Crazy.
Because you You're being arrested, that's why. Citizen's arrest.
But the way it's flipping out now, I thought I didn't mind facing the consequences of what I did. Obviously it does, because now it's freaking out. Now it's on the main stage and everyone's looking at it. Everyone has their phones out looking at it. It's embarrassed. It actually still suffers from embarrassment. Anyway, they said there, the cops came. Edumatrix said his side. I don't know if he pressed charges against her. I hope he did, because he should start pressing charges. But as you could hear as well from the locals, it's in Liverpool. There's another video from Liverpool in August just gone when he was there. And check this one out. Simply standing there talking to another individual, right?
Like, I just don't understand how a conversation in of itself can be harmful. Like, you have to be able to, if you can't entertain like a serious discussion, a scientific discussion of things, like, how can you have it just like are human beings inherently violent? Okay, that's a controversial conversation. Right, but the conversation is inherently loaded. Like, if you start talking about, hey,
Look at that thing.
Do not touch my equipment, okay?
Look at this thing. This thing has scissors. Huh? So they're bringing weapons out with them now.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, and attacking people, yeah. Yeah. I saw you watching.
Look at that. That is so... This video is so perfect. Not one person there, even the guy who's like just having another discussion with Edumatrix. I'm quite happy to stand there and have open dialogue with him. See, I told you, Edumatrix is glad to just talk if people just want to talk. And if they're saying the most outrageous things, he'll stand there and still talk to them. But the second this thing here, I don't know what it is, good chance it's a bloke in a dress, you know, just saying, just by looking. That all the people immediately around the two of them said, no, do you know what's fucking wrong? People bringing scissors out into the middle of the public and trying to cut down billboards, cut down the wire off people's back. Huh? That's what's fucking wrong.
Yeah, you come at me with a pair of scissors. Yeah, a weapon. Do you want to wait around for the police? Do you want to wait around for the police, or are you going to run off?
You gotta you should have
It's fucking mad. I think this guy says it here.
your back against the wall.
Now that guy who just said you should really keep your back against the wall, that guy is actually pro-LGBT. When you listen to the start of it, he's trying to get Edumatrix to try understand why it should be allowed and why it's wrong with it and why humans do what they do. But you shouldn't. No, not to just go out in public and just stand there. You shouldn't, should you? Really? Like, are we willingly allowing society to go the way it's going? Do you know? Or are some people willing to just, you know, if you don't want to get robbed, do this? You know, this type of attitude, which is just wrong. Like, the man just goes out there and, like I said, wants to have dialogue with anyone passing by. He's not going into people's faces. He just stands there, and it's people that come up to him. You know, so I think it's really showing you the attitude of LGBT Rainbow Squad. It's the real face is coming to the forefront with them, and they just can't take it. They don't want more people aware that they want the children involved in their little fetishism. They're freaks.